So the enemy is not winning at wasting your life away. And I really was thinking heavily about this because of a message that I had received from somebody. And I completely can understand how it can be discouraging when you are looking at the things that are going on in your life, and you're looking at your efforts, you're looking at how much you're fighting, and then God is also showing you what's happening behind the scenes in your life, and you're just feeling so overwhelmed at all of the spiritual warfare and the attacks that you are receiving, especially if you are in a place where you are receiving deliverance. It can get very, very intense, and it could come to a point as well to where you feel like nothing is even happening, because in deliverance, most times, like when you're going through intense stuff, especially things that have to do with witchcraft, it will feel like it's getting worse before it's getting better. And even though it can be overwhelming to see the things that are happening, you have to just remember the kind of God that we serve. And we are just so blessed, and God is so gracious to even show us what's happening behind the scenes. And we just have to remember that He has given us what we need already to overcome the things that He is showing us. So if He's showing you that there's people doing witchcraft on you, you need to continue praying and contending with the spirit of witchcraft. And do not allow yourself to get like too overwhelmed and overworked and really tired as well, because that can happen, where you are just feeling like you have to fight and fight and fight to the point where you're just exhausted, because it really does take up a lot of your energy. Like, you could be going through spiritual warfare all day, and then you go to sleep and you're going through more spiritual warfare. You feel like you're not truly resting, you're not truly allowing your body to get the rest that you need. And in those moments, I think it's so important for us to fully surrender to God and know that He fights our battles for us. Just because you get tired and you feel like you have no more strength, and you decide that you're not going to completely war in the spirit like you always do, that doesn't mean that God is not going to have your back just because you didn't war in the spirit one night. Like, if He sees attacks coming your way that is harmful to you, He's not just going to allow you to get eaten up by the enemy. And then also, I wanted to share this scripture, which I think is a really good scripture to look at, which is Isaiah 55:11, which says, "So shall my word be that goes forth from my mouth. It shall not return to me void, but it shall accomplish what I please, and it shall prosper in the thing which I sent it." And we just have to remember that God has predestined amazing things in our life before the foundation of the world. And it's like the life that we are living, we have the opportunity to live out the best life possible when we fully surrender to Him and just allow Him to move in our life and do what it is that He has predestined. And of course, there are things that happen where the enemy tries to pull us away from that path, but it's like we are truly God's investment, and He wants us to receive the best. And the only way for us to receive the best is if we stay aligned with Him. And then that also reminds me of Exodus 23:20, which says, "Behold, I send an angel before thee to keep thee in all the way, and to bring thee in the place which I have prepared." And our lives is something that God takes so seriously. He isn't just going to leave us in a place where we're just in a place of desolation, and we're just stuck and we're in sorrow. And I know that sometimes it really can feel that way. Sometimes you do feel really alone because of how intense things can be. But in times like that, I'm just like, imagine the amount of things that are going on behind the scenes that God doesn't show us. Imagine all the things that are happening that He saves us from that we don't even see. And I think that we just need to continue to praise and worship Him, because sometimes we could get so wrapped up in the things that are happening that we fully forget that God is actually fighting for us at all times. And just think about the times where you weren't fully connected with God, but He still had His grace over your life, and He still pulled you out of situations, and he still blessed you. So we just have to remember that even though it seems like the enemy is winning, or it seems like the enemy is wasting our life away, he truly is not winning. He's not wasting our life away. And we just have to remember, we give away that power once we allow ourselves to believe that the enemy has more power than God does. We have to remember that God, he is the most powerful being ever, and we are his children, and he is a protective father. So he's going to make sure that, especially when you are fully trying to be lined up with his will, he is going to make sure that his plans prosper in your life. And I definitely can say that he has been doing that for me. Even when I've been messing up, he's still been so gracious and so loving and so kind. And I'm truly so grateful that he is just who he is, and this is the kind of God that we serve. So I truly pray that you guys are encouraged and you do not give up or decide that, you're just gonna give in to sin because you feel like things aren't changing in your life, or things are just getting too hard. And, just keep praying. Do not give up. It's okay to take breaks if you feel like you're just too overwhelmed with what's happening in your life, but do not come to a point where you just fully give up on God and give up on yourself, because the enemy fights us so hard when we want to line up with the will of God, because he knows that when we line up with the will of God, we are truly going to be receiving the best in everything, our finances, our family, your marriage, everything. So just stay encouraged and do not be like fearful or anything when God is showing you what's happening behind the scenes and it doesn't look good, because I definitely know what that's like. Just keep believing in him to, pull things together for you, because he really got our back.